A cynically selfish TV executive is haunted by three spirits from the past, present and future. Scrooged is a modern retelling that follows a cynical and selfish television executive, who is visited by a succession of ghosts on Christmas Eve intent on helping him regain his Christmas spirit. With the help of the ghosts, he realizes that he must reform himself. When bratty 8-year-old Kevin McAllister, Macaulay Culkin, acts out the night before a family trip to Paris, his mother, Catherine O'Hara, makes him sleep in the attic. After the McAllisters mistakenly leave for the airport without Kevin, he awakens to an empty house and assumes his wish to have no family has come true. But his excitement sours when he realizes that two con men, Joe Pesci, Daniel Stern, plan to rob the McAllister residence, and that he alone must protect the family home. New York City policeman John McClane, Bruce Willis, is visiting his estranged wife, Bonnie Bedelia, and two daughters on Christmas Eve. He joins her at a holiday party in the headquarters of the Japanese-owned business she works for. But the festivities are interrupted by a group of terrorists who take over the exclusive high-rise, and everyone in it. Very soon McClane realizes that there's no one to save the hostages, but him. George Bailey has so many problems he is thinking about ending it all, and it's Christmas. As George is about to jump from a bridge, he ends up rescuing his guardian angel, Clarence, who then shows George what his town would have looked like if it hadn't been for all his good deeds over the years. In this Christmas classic, an old man going by the name of Kris Kringle, Edmund Gwenn, fills in for an intoxicated Santa in Macy's annual Thanksgiving Day parade. Kringle proves to be such a hit that he is soon appearing regularly at the chain's main store in Midtown Manhattan. When Kringle surprises customers and employees alike by claiming that he really is Santa Claus, it leads to a court case to determine his mental health and, more importantly, his authenticity. Sam the Snowman tells us the story of a young red-nosed reindeer who, after being ousted from the reindeer games because of his glowing nose, teams up with Hermie, an elf who wants to be a dentist, and Yukon Cornelius, the prospector. They run into the abominable snowman and find a whole island of misfit toys. Rudolph vows to see if he can get Santa to help the toys, and he goes back to the North Pole on Christmas Eve. But Santa's sleigh is fogged in. But when Santa looks over Rudolph, he gets a very bright idea. Feeling forgotten by the children of the world, old Saint Nick decides to skip his gift-giving journey and take a vacation. Mrs. Claus and two spunky little elves, Jingle and Jangle, set out to see to where all the season's cheer has disappeared. Aided by a magical snowfall, they reawaken the spirit of Christmas in children's hearts and put Santa back in action. In this dark comedy, the crotchety Willie T. Stokes, Billy Bob Thornton, and his partner, Tony Cox, reunite once a year for a holiday con. Posing as a mall Santa and his elf, they rip off shopping outlets on Christmas Eve. This year, however, Willie is falling apart. He's depressed and alcoholic, and his erratic behavior draws the suspicion of mall security, Bernie Mac. But when befriending a small boy brings out his kinder side, Willie begins to wonder if there is still some hope for him. Here's one for parents looking for something to pop on after the kids are asleep. Some holiday movies just make you feel good when they come on. They wrap you in a comforter of warm, cozy nostalgia. This movie is about Charlie Brown. Depressed at the commercialism Charlie Brown sees around him, he tries to find a deeper meaning to Christmas. This movie will uplift your mood for the Christmas. Buddy, Will Ferrell, was accidentally transported to the North Pole as a toddler and raised to adulthood among Santa's elves. Unable to shake the feeling that he doesn't fit in, the adult Buddy travels to New York, in full elf uniform, in search of his real father. As it happens, this is Walter Hobbs, James Caan, a cynical businessman. After a DNA test proves this, Walter reluctantly attempts to start a relationship with the childlike Buddy with increasingly chaotic results. Bitter and hateful, the Grinch is irritated at the thought of a nearby village having a happy time celebrating Christmas. Disguised as Santa Claus, with his dog made to look like a reindeer, he decides to raid the village to steal all the Christmas things. Based on the humorous writings of author Gene Shepard, this beloved holiday movie follows the wintry exploits of youngster Ralphie Parker, Peter Billingsley, who spends most of his time dodging a bully, Zach Ward, and dreaming of his ideal Christmas gift, a Red Ryder air rifle. Frequently at odds with his cranky dad, Darren McGavin, but comforted by his doting mother, Melinda Dillon. Ralphie struggles to make it to Christmas Day with his glasses and his hopes intact.